All right, everyone, we've got head coach Pat Noonan. Coach, if you just want to start with your thoughts on tonight's 1-0 victory over the Red Bulls.
Yeah, it was a challenging night. Happy that the guys could, find a goal and see the game out. But in a lot of ways, what you expect, New York made it very difficult on us. And, I think the ability to move the ball quickly was challenged tonight for both teams. With just the dry service, which is unfortunate just because of the temperatures, not be able to, wet the field. But it's part of it. You got to deal with the elements, and I thought the guys adjusted in a good way. Second half was better opportunities. I think better defensively with how we were looking to get pressure to the ball. But even when we got those pressing moments right, they're very difficult, and the ball's up to the front three and how they hold it and how they're able to, allow their midfielders and their wingbacks to move up and challenge us. But guys, to be able to turn it around and put together that type of performance with that energy, certainly driven by our fans, was impressive.
We'll start off with questions here with Laurel.
Just given how tough Red Bulls have been to beat and the challenges that you guys faced with going to Honduras and playing Wednesday, do you feel like this can be a tone setter for you guys, just getting a win like that tonight?
Probably too early for that. We're, like I said before, after Wednesday, we're nowhere near what we're capable of, and most teams aren't. So in that process, and I'm a broken record at this time of the year, you try to get results. And that's very important down the road. So it's also important for us to be better at home. We weren't good enough last year, and certainly early in the season dropped points. And I'm pleased about, the win tonight. So I know it's a confident group, but they're realistic. They know in this moment it's a nice start, but nothing else. So hopefully, game by game, we see improvements and better relationships on the field and better play overall. But I think there should be excitement about what this group of players is capable of.
What did you think of the defense tonight? That was something you mentioned in preseason as something you really wanted to see improvement in, and then given the pieces that you guys are missing and the rotation, how important was that clean sheet for this group?
Our back line was the three center backs specifically. I mean, you're looking at Gilberto, who gets thrown in there for his first game and was up for it. He was really impressive tonight, both sides of the ball. And he just looked into the game, aware of, defensively, pressing, covering, simple concepts, but it's not always that simple. And he made it look easy. And, with the ball, found some good passes, played safe when he didn't have any real options to play short. I thought some of his balls, his passes in behind were excellent weight to be able to get us running behind. Teenage, I could talk about Miles every game. So Miles is Miles. Incredible. But Teenage, because of where he's at physically, along with Gilberto, to push it 90 minutes and play the way he did as well. I'm really happy for those guys that they got to keep a clean sheet. I thought Lucas was outstanding on the left side with getting us out of pressure, both with on the dribble and moving the ball up the field with good inside passes. Him and DeAndre found themselves in the good spots, and we're close. So hopefully we'll get more production out of those guys as we get more and more games and get them in these spots, because I think they both had chances for goals and assists tonight. The defense stood out tonight.
We'll go to Carter here.
Coach, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Speaking of Gilberto, was there something you saw, considering how quickly he's joined the group, that gave you the confidence to put him in the situation he was in tonight?
The week that he's been with us, we've seen, a lot of what you just saw tonight, but it's hard to say that it's going to translate into a game when there's pressure. And for somebody to carry over what he does in training against a really difficult opponent. But, the physical part of it was even more impressive because he hasn't played significant minutes. And, I don't know what he got to, 80, whatever it was. That's just a mentally strong kid if you're able to do that and still play at a high level. So it's also where we were at after Wednesday. So we felt like we needed some fresh legs, and we'll see how far he can go.
It felt like the game started, a little more generally now, it felt like the game started and you guys got off to a really strong start, and then Red Bull kind of found their way into the game. What were the adjustments you saw Red Bull make to kind of find that change?
With the ball, they sat Edelman a little bit deeper behind our front three. We didn't get our press right consistently enough. And so, when we had Evander releasing to, the central to the three, we just didn't step with the play enough. So they made, a good adjustment there with the ball to get their midfielders facing forward. I also think with the ball, we were really rushed with our play. I said at halftime, the moments where we were able to break pressure and face forward, we too often forced plays that weren't there and didn't have the numbers to, and so then the game shifted in their favor. And so we just needed to have a little bit more composure to control the ball, to pass the ball, and I think we got that back in the second half more consistently.
We'll go to Jeff and then back to Caleb.
Okay, Coach, you mentioned that the cold weather made the pitch dry. It was, from what I understand, the coldest game time temperature for an FCC game. Mm-hmm. Considering that it started the week in Honduras, can you maybe say something about how the players handled the elements tonight?
Like they did on Wednesday, and like they did it for the last month of preseason. They just get on with it. It's not a group of excuse makers. I mean, they're just going to put their head down and figure it out, and that's what you love to see as a coach, is guys that aren't throwing their hands in the air because things aren't going their way, and solving problems. And so, again, it's only 2 games, but I like the character that they've shown with what's been thrown at them.
And can you also say a little bit about Kevin Denke's play tonight, getting his first goal in an MLS game, how he handled the pressure tonight?
I think you see somebody that can be quiet for stretches of the game and just needs a moment to score a goal. And I actually kind of missed the ball behind from DeAndre, and it checked up, and he does a good job to be brave and score with his head. But I think his hold-up play was better in the second half. You can see there's moments where even when he's, up against, a physical center back, or he's got a midfielder closing in on him, or he's getting doubled, he has great footwork to get out of that pressure. And that's the difference of a transition moment and us defending, or us, moving up into the attack. So I thought he was really strong in that regard in the second half. You also see his passing. It's a simple pass to Lucas, or it looks simple, but the weight of the pass is perfect, and it puts Lucas in a good spot. So, he's not trying to do too much in that moment. He makes the right pass to his teammate to set him up for a goal-scoring opportunity. So it kind of, it just shows the team player that he is. But there's a lot more out there for him, and that's pretty scary, because he's got a couple goals in the last 2 games, and he's done a lot of good things, and he knows he can be better, and that's a good thing.
We'll go to Caleb, Damon, and we'll wrap up with Tito.
Pat, you back here, you just talked about Kevin and what makes him so effective, but to be able to see him have a moment like that in his first game here in his new stadium, how gratifying is that for you?
For me, I like when we're winning and guys are playing together. I'm not always concerned about who's scoring, but when you invest heavily in a player and when there's a lot of expectations, of course it's great to see those players step up. And we're 2 games in and two competitions, and he's got 2 goals and could have more. So, and I don't think he's playing these games under any extra pressure. He just plays the game the right way. He prepares himself the right way, and he's rewarded with a moment like tonight. And I think that'll happen consistently.
You walked out onto the field around midfield and gave him a big hug after the game, smiled a little bit with him. Are you able to share what you said to him?
Well, he was mad about the miss at the end there. So that tells you everything. He's hungry for more. That's what he said.
We'll go to Damon and wrap up with Tito.
Hi, Coach. The team was called for the most offsides in MLS last season and had another 5 tonight with 4 in the first half. Is that something you've been addressing or plan to work on in the future?
I have not. I didn't know that stat, but we talk about how we can expose space, behind, certain teams in the back line in the right moment. I'd rather see us take the risk and looking for different ways to go to goal. But if it's, like we saw on a couple occasions tonight, then it's a lot of individual, or if it's, group discussion about moving with the play to not be in an offside position when you shouldn't be. Occasionally I guess we've talked about that, but I'm not concerned about guys being in offside position.
And DeAndre Yedlin had an incredible night tonight, stretching the field on both offense and defense, and that assist to Kevin. Do you think, or do you expect him to have a big year now that he's in his 2nd year in this formation and with this team?
I do. We've challenged him in different ways to, be aggressive in the attack, to find us opportunities, whether it's with the pass, whether it's like you saw tonight, a couple moments where opponents are defending narrow and he can attack in a more narrow way to find a goal or a final pass. And so I look for more production, and I think he would probably say the same thing, but he gives you the right energy every game. He plays for the team every game, and now it's just, I think, simplifying some of the on-the-ball stuff to be more efficient. And he's, not alone. There's a lot of guys tonight that fell into that bucket of making simple passes to slow the game down and control the tempo. But, I expect a lot out of him, yes.
And we'll wrap up with Tito here in the back.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations. This is Gol Cincinnati, Spanish media. El gol llegó en un balón largo, buscando, y hubo más balones largos buscando al delantero, pero vemos al arquero jugando un poquito lento. ¿No podría sorprender al rival jugando de una manera más rápida?
The question was, the goal tonight you scored was a long ball over the top. Is that something that you were looking for, or was that something that maybe you noticed from the way the keeper was playing tonight?
I didn't see it, which is not a shock. But no, if the idea isn't to just lump balls up the field, there has to be purpose behind it. And if a team's playing a high line and we have time and space on the ball, how do we look at different ways to run into space? And all I saw was the ball check up and Kevin finish it. So, if that was the purpose of the pass in that moment with, the time he had in the run of Kevin, then great. We have no problem attacking in that way. But like I said, there's got to be purpose behind it. And so I'll have to see it back. I haven't seen it back, but we scored a goal. So I imagine it was a pretty good pass.
Last one here from Culture Golpe.
Buenas noches, profe, para Contragolpe TV. Una semana espectacular para el equipo. Se gana en Honduras, se comienza muy bien el torneo hoy. ¿Qué sensaciones le dejan los nuevos jugadores que han llegado al equipo?
Sensational week for the club, win in Honduras and then a win tonight. What feeling does that leave the new players at the club with a week like that?
Well, hopefully they're getting up to speed with the expectations of our group. You know, this is now what the norm is. And if you're new to the team, I would think by now, you know, from, you know, studying the group before you come here and seeing the guys in the locker room that they're next to, that this shouldn't be a surprise. And it's not easy, but that's just where we're at, and that's a good thing. So we'll continue to try to be humble and how we go about it and how we expect it, and always looking to improve. But if you're a new player on our team, I think you should probably be excited about who you play for.
Pat, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.